Let's bring in immigration attorney Leon Fresco for more. Leon, these protests started in response to ICE operations happening at public businesses as opposed to someone's home or a jail, for example. What does the law say about these operations?
Well, the law says that ICE can apprehend people if it has a reasonable suspicion that they're not in the United States lawfully. But the issue is that the society has sort of become accustomed to this process where ICE enforcement happens in sort of a more sanitary manner, where people go, or ICE goes, like you said, into people's homes or into jails. And so people aren't directly confronted with these traumatic events where ICE goes into a business and takes one of your coworkers, or goes into a private location and grabs people in a school, for instance. And so from that perspective, that's where some of these conflagrations are happening, is people are not accustomed to this anymore. This used to be a thing back in the early 2000s, but now that this is coming back into form again, people are saying, no, don't take these individuals. And then these conflagrations just very quickly rise up, especially adding social media to the mix. And then you end up with situations like this.
500 Marines are now on standby. The National Guard's already there. What would you say to clients who might want to get involved in these protests?
I don't think it's a good idea to get involved in these protests. I think that this administration is very serious about prosecuting people for 8 USC 1324, which is impeding the actions of the ICE agents who are trying to apprehend people without status. I think that's a very serious offense, number one, and I think they're very serious in their intent to actually prosecute these things. So if people want to protest, they should protest, but I don't think that the people without status are doing something wise in terms of risking their status by being out there protesting. And so from that perspective, I just think that this is, again, one of these situations where it would be better for everybody involved if the local officials and the state officials were to cooler heads prevail with the federal officials, and they could figure out, again, a way to conduct these operations for the serious criminals, the people who everybody agrees are the people that should be removed from the United States, such that way we don't have these conflagrations moving forward.
Leon, now California's Governor Gavin Newsom says he's planning to sue the Trump administration. What do you make of his legal argument that the Trump administration, the president, essentially broke the law by federalizing the National Guard here?
Well, the issue is going to be what will be the relief at the end of the day, because these situations are going to keep coming up. And then each time there will need to be individualized determinations as to whether it's appropriate to summon the National Guard for a specific situation. And so even if he were to get relief now about pulling the National Guard out now, that wouldn't change what would happen in a future incident. And so I don't know exactly what this is going to accomplish at the end of the day. So from that perspective, I understand the desire for each side to protect their sovereignty, the federal sovereignty, the state sovereignty, but the authority is there if the situation is grave enough. And then it's just a matter of the interpretation of, is the situation grave enough for the federal authorities to come in?
All right, Leon Fresco, thank you.